How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Wicked. That's right, I got to see the musical film based on the Broadway play that came out a couple of weeks ago, but I saw it this weekend, and this film was directed by John M. Chu and stars Cynthia Eviro, sorry if I mispronounced that last name, Ariana Grande, Michelle Yeoh, and Jeff Goldblum. And this movie, like I said, based on the classic play, tells the story of Elphaba and Galinda before they were known as the Wicked Witch of the West and Galinda the Good. And this movie takes place in the wonderful world of Oz, full of many great colors and set pieces. And going into this movie, I had never seen Wicked before. I never saw the play. I don't know the play's plot. Never read the novel based off it either. But I have watched The Wizard of Oz many times throughout the years. It's a personal tradition of mine to rewatch it around this time of year, around Thanksgiving, Christmas, more so Thanksgiving time. And it's a classic. I love it. And unlike a lot of YouTubers who have come out and said they aren't big fans of musicals aren't their cup of tea, I'm someone that enjoys musicals. I grew up on musicals, not just The Wizard of Oz, but movies such as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Singing in the Rain, the 1962 Music Man, film adaptation, Mary Poppins. Musicals don't bug me. I've enjoyed a lot of musicals. Some musicals are among some of my favorite movies, particularly Singing in the Rain, Willy Wonka, and The Wizard of Oz. But you also got to get a musical right. You got to have great musical numbers, great dancing, great performances. Because if you don't have memorable songs, you're not really going to hit your mark. Wicked, though, hits the mark. Now, I can suspect which songs were in the musical, but it's cool based on hearing other people sing these songs before seeing the commercials of Wicked on my TV. I don't know which songs were add ons if they did create original music for this movie, but whether the songs were from the play or original songs for the movie, the songs were great. They had great, memorable songs in this movie that are still stuck in my head. They do such a great job. But a part of that is due to the performances of the actors, primarily the actresses Cynthia and Ariana, who have musical experience. They killed it in this movie. Whether it's through singing or dancing, they absolutely killed it. They did such a fantastic job with the performances in this movie. And I think what also helps is that this is a colorful musical. Now, I know not every musical has to be colorful, but to me, the more colorful the musical is, the better, if that makes any sense. And this movie is screaming vibrant colors. They capture Oz so well, and that's due to the settings. The settings look incredible. And the best part is they're practical. They're not even green screen, which has become more popular since COVID in 2020, where, in the early 2020s, they were relying heavily on green screen because they couldn't really be on big sets. You couldn't be filming out in public. Completely understand, but we still see studios still rely on that. Here, it feels like more effort was put into the production of the movie, from the settings. I mean, the Munchkin Village looks great. Shiz University, where Elphaba and Galinda go to university, looks great. The train that was built for the movie looks great. Emerald City looks great. Everything looks great in how you would make a movie set in the wonderful world of Oz. It just looks all terrific. They John M. Chu did such a great job, and to me, when you put the effort into a movie, that just shows how much dedication and love you have for your production. And I think another thing is everyone looks so happy while making this movie. Everyone looks like they're having fun doing these musical numbers. If you're just going through the motions while doing them, forcing smiles, you're probably not going to have that great of a musical, and you're not going to have a great time. As far as the performances go, Cynthia Evaros, sorry if I keep mispronouncing her last name, as Elphaba, she does such a terrific job as well. Uh, in her performance. And when you are introduced to this character, you learn about her backstory, why her her skin color is green, why everyone makes fun of her. But you also see her character grow, and that also includes her friendship with Galinda, who eventually changes her name to Glinda. Ariana Grande does such a great job as Galinda slash Glinda in this movie, and you see her character grow from at first being more focused on her thing, but growing to care and become a great friend to Elphaba. And I love these kind of stories where you go from strangers to school rivals to best friends, and it adds more to when eventually they become enemies, when that point comes where they have a parting of the ways. And in a year where we already had a movie similar to that that's less popular, Transformers 1, which did a great job telling that story of Optimus and Megatron's friendship turning to bitter enemies, Wicked continues that strong trend. It's funny, 2024, not exactly a great year for some sequels, but in great year for friends turned enemy stories. Michelle Yeoh plays this professor, or Madame Morrible, who is teaching Elphaba about her powers, or she does a very good job. Jeff Goldblum plays Oz, and Jeff Goldblum, even in his early 70s, he still has a charm to him whenever he gives a performance. There's just something about his charismatic personality that, regardless of the role, he just does such a great job. Jonathan Bailey, to me, was the standout in regards to the other characters that aren't the main four actors that I just mentioned. He plays this prince that transfers to the school who Glinda has feelings for, but you also see that he might have some feelings for Elphaba. Now I haven't seen The Wicked Play, so I don't know what's gonna happen in Act Two, where these relationships are gonna go from there. But I enjoy the build up with those relationships. I definitely enjoyed that. And the costumes look great, the designs, makeup looks great. They really put a lot of effort into this movie. And it's around 2 hours and 40 minutes long, which honestly, the long runtime I didn't even feel. In fact, once at the end, minor spoiler alert, when it says to be continued, I was actually disappointed because I was like, wait, that's it? We got to wait next year for the next part. I wouldn't mind seeing Act Two right away. But it does make Part Two one of my most anticipated movies of next year. I feel like it also adds more pressure to Part Two because this movie is fantastic. And sometimes when you split something up into two parts or a few parts, you got one part that's really good, and then you got one part that's not so good. Sometimes it's part one that suffers, but part two turns out great. Sometimes it's part one that's great, but part two suffers. Here's hoping that both parts turn out fantastic. And I don't know what is accurate from the play and what wasn't, what was added on and what wasn't, but I felt like they captured the runtime so well and they covered the character growth and development of our two main leads. And when a movie does that so well, whether it's a musical, action movie, fantasy movie, comedy, drama, the movie's doing its job right. That I'll say, it's doing its job right. Now, if you're a Wicked fan, you're most likely going to love this movie. If you're a musical fan, you're most likely going to love this movie. Even if you've never seen Wicked or whatever, if you're a fan of The Wizard of Oz, love Wizard of Oz lore, I recommend this movie. If you're someone that just wants to enjoy a great movie, don't care if it's a musical or the runtime, go see this movie. If you're someone who's not into musicals and doesn't want to sit in a movie that's longer than 2.5 hours, because I know people don't like long runtimes, maybe wait to watch this movie or don't go see this movie. But overall, I had a great time with this movie. I enjoyed the performances. I enjoyed how Oz looked. I enjoyed the storyline. And I enjoyed the musical numbers and performances. This is the theme and that this movie has about prejudice, because it's also not just about how Elphaba was being treated. Even when she's having her friendship with Galinda is getting better and her peers are starting to be nicer to her, she's still seeing how some of the animals are mistreated. Which I will say, the CGI for the talking animals looks a lot better than the CGI that Disney does with their talking animals in live action movies. I don't know, it's just something that I noticed. Oh yeah, Peter Dinklage as the goat professor that Elphaba befriends and cares for, he did a very good job. But yeah, I just enjoyed the themes of the movie. It had such a great balance of comedy and drama. And when a movie does that, particularly a musical, you did a great job. And so I'm looking forward to Wicked Part 2. It's now one of my most anticipated movies of 2025. And my final grade for Wicked is an A. I highly recommend you check this movie out if you love musicals, if you love Wizard of Oz lore, if you love the play Wicked especially. And this also made me want to see the play. So now, Wicked, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And what is your favorite musical or adaptation or something in media involving Wizard of Oz? Let me know in the comments down below, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share this with someone that loves Wicked, that loves the Wizard of Oz, who loves musicals, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.